Over to you, Nandini ma'am. Over to you, Nandini ma'am.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on Future of Work, what job roles will look like in 10 years, organized by Mangalam University. With me are present on the panel today are esteemed speakers, Mr. Gagandeep Arora and Professor Himani Singh. Welcome, Gagandeep sir and Himani ma'am to this webinar. What will be the future of work 10 years from now? Will technology kill more jobs and aggravate inequality? Or will it bring in more significant work and healthier societies? Will the world of work move away from big companies and create opportunities for small businesses to tap into the vast reservoirs of information, skills, and financing? Will there be fierce competition for talent? And will those with in-demand future skills will command the highest rewards? According to a study conducted by the talent management firm Pearson, only 1 in 5 workers will continue in their current jobs 10 years from now. And that will further shrink in the future. Pearson also forecasts that 7 in 10 workers will be in jobs where there will be greater uncertainty about the future. Their findings also confirm the importance of higher order cognitive skills such as complex problem solving, originality, fluency of ideas, and active learning. So this is a very important topic for our young generation who will be taking their first step into their professional world in about 5 years from now. Before going to our panel members, to know what they think about the future of work, I would like to briefly introduce them to our audience. Our first speaker today is Professor Himani Singh. She is the Dean of the School of Architecture and Design at Mangalam University. Professor Singh completed her graduation from the School of Architecture and Planning, New Delhi. Ma'am has over 2 decades of rich experience in conservation, urban and interior design, and architecture. She has been involved in professional and academic work in Dubai, Singapore, Netherlands, and India. Our next speaker today is Mr. Gagandeep Arora. Mr. Arora is a celebrated leadership trainer and motivational speaker. He has more than 2 decades of corporate career spanning global HR and learning and development initiatives as director and member of boards of several agencies. He is the founder of Gagan's Winning Edge Persona Program, a leadership development institute towards grooming Gen Next leaders. I thank both our panelists for joining today's webinar. Viewers, one thing that readily comes to our mind when we think of work or career is the actual space where work is carried out. Over the last decade, we have seen the progressive dismantling of the concept of brick and mortar offices. All our parents used to work in such real offices, but that scenario has changed now. Offices have shrunk and workspaces have become portable. The biggest transformation probably came during COVID times when our offices practically moved into our living rooms. During the last 2 years, many companies have given up their physical infrastructure and assets. With the worst of the pandemic behind us, people are now returning to their real offices. Yet many companies, including large ones like Google, have accepted hybrid work as a way of life. In this regard, my first question will be to Himani ma'am. Ma'am, which changes in the workspace do you envisage in a horizon of, say, 10 to 15 years? Would the offices be like they are today, or would they evolve into very different forms?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nandini, for such a nice introduction and also for asking this question. It's actually very interesting. I think, the pandemic has exposed us to understanding that something is about to happen or something has already happened, which has triggered a major change. So we are all, I think, quite prepared that things are going to change now. Things are not going to be the way they were, by till about 2019. So office space, I think you gave a very good introduction about how, people are giving up physical office space, even companies like Google. And everybody's now looking at virtual connection, and also the flexibility. I think people, were suddenly exposed to this kind of way of working. And COVID obviously precipitated that. Before that, I remember we used to hear about Skype, we used to hear about Zoom, but we never used it for work. We probably once in a while connected with our friends or something to see them face to face, but we never used it for work. And then with the coming of COVID, things changed dramatically, and now we kind of know where we are. Like you said, hybrid space is also a very good way of working. You connect sometimes physically, and other days you just connect online, just the way how we are working today. Instead of just setting up a full auditorium for this kind of a meeting, we are just connecting virtually and carrying on this discussion. So without taking any more time, I just wanted to show some I just wanted to show some visuals, and I think this will Is everyone able to see it? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you able to see futuristic workspace?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just something very quickly I prepared. This is just to give you an idea of what workspace might look like, and I think this has been the biggest stimulant for change in workspace, that we can work virtually and we can work from anywhere. So if conventionally you look at workspace, office space, it seemed to be very rigid, with cubicles, with definite assigned spaces for everyone. And efficiency meant that people would just sit on a mass scale in offices, and would just be sitting on their desks working on their computers. And suddenly when you look at it now, it makes sense that people are working like this. They are just sitting anywhere, they're just sitting with their laptops, connecting anywhere. They are where they want to be, and they are able to operate from that place. So I think these are the things that are going to govern the workspace. And for me, I'm looking at this also because I see it as something very positive. Flexibility, plenty of daylight, a nice view, connection, with nature, with greenery. The ambience is relaxed, so that, you're always coming up with fresh ideas, discussions, powerful ways to communicate with each other. And plus, of course, coffee, refreshment, at the same time while you're working. And I think these are the things that are going to take over. Of course, virtual reality is going to take over, but in terms of physical space, because I'm an architect, and I feel that physical space should be where, should become how we want it to be. We don't want to be confined to cubicles. We don't want to be confined to limited space. We want to have access. We don't want to see hierarchy in our spaces. So I think this is just something, these are just visuals that I feel are very attractive. And now with the new way of working coming in, I think these are completely possible. So, for me, I feel it's just opening up of something new, and opening up of, workspaces that we are happy to belong to, and workspaces that do not confine us in terms of space, workspaces that do not confine us in terms of hierarchy, in terms of limited ideas, limited work scope, things that enable us to transcend these kind of limitations. So it is also a little bit of it's a little utopian, but I think it's just certainly possible, and I'm just very happy to start this webinar with something so positive. So yeah, I think this is what I wanted to introduce to the audience, and we can just carry on the discussion. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am, for your very informative answer. And it looks like the future workplaces are going to be really empowering for the workforce, which will also become more independent and not be bound by one particular job or 2 or 3 jobs all their lifetime. So thank you so much, ma'am. As we know, the nature of work is changing, and it is changing very fast. These changes are being driven by artificial intelligence, automation, changing demographics, and globalization, just to name a few forces. My next question will go to Gagandeep sir. Sir, what kind of new and emerging trends in the world of work do you visualize as appearing in the next decade?
Thank you, Dr. Naradi, ma'am. Can you see my presentation?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, just give me a second. Can you see it now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. So my wonderful students, all respected, esteemed members of the panel, and the most lovable participants across various age groups. Respected Dr. Himani ma'am has taken us to the future. And to answer the question which Dr. Nandini ma'am has asked, please permit me to take you to the past. So I want to start with 2 quizzes. Quiz 1. Who were the big employers of the past? Who were the companies which were giving us great jobs, great opportunities? There are some pictures which I can say that a lot of you may not even be knowing. So my beloved students, one of the biggest industry was VCR, VCP industry. Another big industry which was rocking big time was Walkman, tape recorder, music cassettes. And then this one, some of you may know, is the legendary era of Moser Beer, the world's largest DVD maker, and therefore DVD diskettes. Before I go ahead, I want all of you to think one small thing. These organizations, which were probably giving a very substantial percentage of employment, where are they? And the answer is very sad to say, but all of them are dead. And what this means is that when we talk about what happened to them today, it's nothing else, my beloved students, but technology evolution killed them. And not just them, the entire industry was wiped away, neat, clean. So the question which becomes very pertinent is, if technology is a dangerous killer, why then is Mangalam University conducting this session on discussion about technology? But to answer that, let us discuss quiz number 2. Let me show you some pictures. This used to be his master's voice about 50 years back. Again, a conventional tape recorder, then Walkman, then Steve Jobs' legendary iPod, and then, of course, today's era's smartphone. The moot point which has to be understood is his master's voice was killed by the tape recorder, which was killed by Walkman, which was killed by iPod, which was killed by iPhone. However, my dear participants, at each turn, if technology kills one, it creates 10 more. And therefore, products just change form. So the question I want to answer over here, right at the beginning, before I take over Nandini ma'am's question, is that for all you wonderful students of class 11th, 12th, and college, it's true that technology is a killer. However, it's also a harbinger of humongous transformation and growth opportunities, bountiful of plethora of new avenues. However, for those who are ready to adapt to acquire the skills needed in different, new, and dynamic era. And now, with these words, let me quickly talk about the question which Nandini ma'am asked me, the trends of future. So, according to a very unique study, a very landmark study by PwC, they said the future will be ruled by 4 important trends, and they are dignified by colors like red, blue, green, yellow. And do not misconstrue, we are not playing Ludo over here. This is one of the greatest management research talking about the future. The first trend would be the red companies. Red companies would be basically where technology is the lever. So the red, my heart bleeds for red, is all about technology. And this would be situations with small companies who were really straddled with economies of scale problem, who were really straddled with overheads, can now use technology. Can you imagine about 20 years back, any cheaper way to reach to your client? Today, a small businessman can take a phone, make a video, put it on LinkedIn free of cost, put it on Instagram free of cost, put it on YouTube free of cost, and use technology to open this new era. So what this would mean is there'll be these companies who can start outsourcing all the specialized areas, whether it is HR, admin, IT, logistics. So in this red era, the opportunities for all of you would be technology-centered specialist. I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Everything oriented on the pillar of technology. You want to be a content maker, you may want to be a social media content maker. You want to be a logistics service provider, you may want to be a network integrator. For client outreach, you may want to be a digital marketing expert. For marketing strategies, you may be a digital content positioning expert. For finance, no longer the conventional CA, but going one step forward to do algorithm, coding, quantitative investing. And of course, artificial intelligence to find out the data analytics of your customer. So the zone of red would allow every small single individual, like it's written in our Vedas, Har Har Mahadev, Khan Khan mein base Ram. Usi prakar, all of you, if you decide to leverage technology, could establish good businesses even on standalone basis. So that's the first trend, Dr. Nandini ma'am. Let's move to the second trend. That is the blue world. Blue, humongous as in ocean. Blue, gargantuan as in the blue whale, will obviously signify big global companies. So these big global companies, I've just taken some reference, I don't even need to explain these names, will typically leverage on one single thing. And that single thing is size. There are numerous research and articles which are talking about how Silicon Valley or some of the big corporations of the US or various other countries are just eating up like the Pac-Man of yester era eats dots. These companies will rely on size because their keyword would be economies of scale. So I hope, children, you can see on one hand, there was the era of red, no technology. Har Har Mahadev, every single man is the MD. And the other universe of blue is where vast ocean of scale. Now, what would this mean for you? What are kind of opportunities over here? Well, no prizes for guessing, best of best. This may be the University of Harvard, Wharton's, Ames, IIM Ahmedabad, IITs, top engineers, top scientists, doctors, architects. So in simple terms, it will be a steeper pyramid where only the best will enter But then once they enter, Sundar Pichai, 1,500 crore. Satya Nadella, 2,000 crore. And I'm talking about salaries which are like per quarter or per 6 months. So this is going to be another big universe, which we cannot sort of ignore at this juncture. So these giant global corporations constitute the second trend, Nandini ma'am. Now, moving on to the third one, the world of green, the lovely pot. This would be the universe where basically protecting the green of the earth, this lovely pot, will be the paramount and singular objective. Now, it would have all kind of opportunities. However, law, public policy, mass comm, journalism, everywhere where environment climate becomes vital. COP26 and before that Kobe Protocol, Paris Convention have just accelerated this shift. So every function would be there, but students who are specifically trying to orient to law, policy, mass comm could actually take leverage from that, as much as engineers who focus into climate engineering, environment protection, green technology, and build up relationship skills to join international bodies like the weather conventions or climate bodies. That will be the third important trend. Now, the fourth one, the so-called yellow world. The word yellow reminds me of a very almost a decade old business, which is yellow goods is a term used for construction equipments. So JCB, Hyundai, CAT, all of these constitute. So if we look at the yellow world is the one where worker self-actualization will become suddenly paramount. Companies will grow by giving autonomy, flexibility, fulfillment, ethics. So I visualize conventional manufacturing, hospitality, aviation, humans as resources. Companies where people are imperative, indispensable, and the worker actualization would be probably, Nandini ma'am, the fourth area. So these are the broad trends which I like to introduce to you at this juncture.
Very true, sir. Thank you for that insightful answer. The concept of four possible worlds of work based on the four possible scenarios, which has been metaphorically put through four color schemes by you, is an extremely insightful and practical one, sir. I believe our audience has got a glimpse of what the world of work in 10 years could look like. That brings us to my next and possibly most obvious question, Gagan sir. What do these emerging trends mean for our students? Which skills will prove to be the most important for them in the coming decade?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again for an insightful point over here. Now, COVID has radically altered the landscape, as respected Himani ma'am had said earlier. So allow me to start with a slide, which I had evolved together with certain Harvard professors where I was doing leadership program. 3 changes of future have to be understood first. Before we talk about what to acquire, we must talk about what compels this. First change will be technology. Second, automation. And third, the fabric of globalization may get torn a bit and the return of nationalism may be there to a certain extent. Various countries have various slogans, be it Atmanirbhar Bharat or America First policy. The trends are appearing, emerging very constantly. You will have local supply chains, you will have local businesses. So it's important to understand, in order to grow, a student must ride this dragon. If you are lying below, the dragon will eat you. But if you are going to ride the trend, the dragon will take you to the places. So can you rule technology? Can you rule automation? Can you rule the concept of nationalization or the thoughts? So there have been various studies, but one of the most respected studies said that why are we talking about automation? So automation may have certain waves. The first wave may start in early 30s, then gradually we may go on from and beyond 30s. But what all the students here need to know with brief succinctity is that about 30 to 40% of jobs may get affected. This is one of the estimates. Some estimates talk even 70%, which I'm going to talk later. So computer automation will play a big role, and you have to be the boss of computer, boss of technology. So while there are various studies, I think Nandini ma'am touched this one. So I just wish to say over here that as a summary, it is said that if 10 people are working out of the world today, at least 7 of them will get affected by 30s. So now it's important to understand, what does it mean for today's student? What it means is that in this conventional organizational pyramid, the COVID virus induced shock will create a situation where at least 60 to 70% jobs, 60 to 70% businesses in their present form will probably be gone. And what will emerge is a flatter, leaner hierarchy, like a small rocket which is ready to fly. Why? Because it ejected the dead load of a quadrilateral which is ready to die. So it's important to understand the skills I'm going to talk about now are needed to make sure that you fly with the lean and mean rocket and don't die with the quadrilateral. So once we have understood this fundamental concept, we can now talk about the future skills. So a study had said that the world will get divided in 2 zones, the zone of computer and the zone of vector. So about 70 to 80% jobs will be eaten up by computer and about 20-30 for the human vector. And the human vector will be someone who has ability to visualize trends and adapt to those trends. So your visualization power, whichever field, you be a doctor, be an engineer, be a chartered accountant, be a futuristic profession. Like Himani ma'am spoke about future of workplace, you must always be vigilant to the trends which are changing. And nobody's going to come here and say, oh, you did one engineering course, it's fine. Now, nobody will tell you. You will have to be, oh, my course is not sufficient, I have to do one more. The second is creativity. Creativity is often misconstrued as the ability to just come up with a good idea. That's part definition. Creative is a person who has the ability to conceive and then concretize. This will need all of you to have an ability to be a continuous learner. So acquiring new courses, new skills, everything. And the third word from Harvard, which I love a lot, is oration. No matter what a computer does, it can never take away the communication skills, people management skills from you. So no matter a Chitti Robot 1.0 or a 2.0 or a Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, if you have these Victor skills ingrained in you, nobody can take it away from you. And for that, before I talk about specific skills, I like to give you Harry Potter's magical wand. And this is a wand, not with a W, but a double V, which means as a fundamental nature, you must have Harry Potter's wand, which is you must be ever vigilant. What is changing? Ever versatile, to be quickly trying to transform, adapt, change yourself, nimble, which means be agile and spring-footed. Aaj yahan to kal wahan, parso wahan. Things will keep, and dynamic. Bhim ki gada ki tarah, force is equal to mass into acceleration. You penetrate anything, penetrate it with full force in no time. So the first answer to Nandini ma'am's question is, you will need Harry Potter's magical wand. And the second part, which is more contextual. So a lot of trends have been discussed, and the only important trend I want you to notice is that you will have flat organizations. So Har Har Mahadev, everybody would be expected to be a leader and creative. So all of this implies for you, like Nandini said, that there are 4 universal skills. Let me take it from where Nandini ma'am had used and talk about the key point. So you will have to focus on these skills and on these learning temperaments, because the precise professions have not yet been conceived. Therefore, my final answer to Nandini ma'am over here is that 3 category of skills, ma'am, will become very important: cognitive, socio-emotional, and technology related. The mantra is like with the Harry Potter's wand, you have to ride the dragon, not be driven by it. Cognitive skills are typically higher order skills: literacy, writing, creative thinking, quantitative analysis, statistics. If you have literacy, you could come up with new ideas. You have writing skills, every social media, LinkedIn, YouTube would want you. If you have critical thinking, every algorithm writer would need you. If you have quantitative abilities, every data analytical company would need you, and statistics is the same. That's one part. The second Harry Potter's magical wand skill will be socio-emotional, because everything which is pure technology will go to computer. Chitty Robert of Rajnikant 1.0 and 2.0. What will come with you? What will come with you is your communication, your emotional intelligence, your versatility, and your ability to be a continuous learner in new, unfamiliar terrains. Lifetime employment concept, like I was a big part of my life in Japan, is probably going to wean away. So continuously learning new things will be vital. And finally, no need to expand on this, but either as a user or a designer, you may have to master technology. I don't have to explain these acronyms: AI, IoT, ML, DS, all of them will be vital, which therefore is the world of engineering. So these are my thoughts, ma'am.
Very aptly put, sir. Very aptly put. As you have rightly pointed out, sir, a lot many jobs are going to be redundant and many others will emerge in response to the demands of the time. And of course, along with technological progress. I would like to now introduce a study in addition to the Pearson study. It's a kind of reflection of or reiteration of what the Pearson study had said. The study was done by Dell Technologies and Institute for the Future. According to this study, 85% of jobs in 2030 have not yet been invented. That's kind of shocking, I believe. Since our audience would like to have an idea of the top future jobs coming up in the next decade or in 15 years from now, I would like to understand from you, Gagan sir, going by the major technological and business trends today, which are some of the alternative and, if I may even call them, unique jobs or careers that is set to emerge over the next 10 years.
Thank you, ma'am. So this is the most startling revelation that we are about to make. So all of you who are enjoying your weekend coffee, please fasten your seat backs, sit back, relax, and enjoy the roller coaster ride that I'm going to take through. Because some of the terms which I'm going to tell you, I can say that the legendary visualizer Elon Musk or the likes of them would have probably coined. There is a study which has spoken about 12 future jobs. And some of them are truly stupendous, beguiling, bewitching by the simple, grand, majestic sweep of thought that they talk about. So all the wonderful students of class 11th and 12th who are present over here, please be ready for a virtual shock which may come in terms of the beautiful new creative world of future jobs. So while there must be many, please allow me, in view of paucity of time, to talk about 12. The first job, which will probably take a very big role, is what is christened as virtual store Sherpa. Now, of course, we all know Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Sherpa, they climb Mount Everest. So probably if you want to climb the Mount Everest of 2030s and 40s, one opportunity would be to be a customer satisfactory official who has knowledge about various products. We are seeing that happen in YouTube, Tech Guruji, and so many other websites where people are there on the tech. And while I don't know their precise income, some of the various newspaper articles say some of them earning in crores. So if you become expert of one topic, you may not have to open a factory. You may not have to do an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad or Harvard or Wharton. But probably if you're that great on that one thing, like the respect-worthy Tech Guruji, you could be a legend in your own means, virtually, from the confines of your bedroom, drawing room, or whichever room you choose that to be. All right, so that's shock number one. Number two, you may actually be a personal assistant when it comes to some sort of data-related guidance. Now, you must be surprised, ki, what am I talking about over here? Well, some studies say that the future oil to khatam ho jayega. What is the future black oil? The oil and gold of future is nothing but data. If you have information about people, that will become power. Their emails, their mobile numbers. So till now, this industry is shrouded in a nebulous veil of some amount of unethicity or ambiguity. The future will unfurl this as a mammoth opportunity, a tectonic shift where if you become a data broker, you could actually be the next kingmaker. So probably ability to understand technology, have sources where you can get data and then sell them, or even promote them, could be a vital profession for future. Almost like हमारे time पे kerosene traders होते थे. I don't know whether they are there anymore. But you may be a gold merchant by becoming a data trader. And the next one, profession number 3 of future, talks about personal memory curator. Now, for someone like me, who's a memory coach, my greatest passion is the sessions I conduct on Brain Gym for schools and colleges. This is an amazingly happy news. There is a research which says that if human memory gets constrained and reaches the peak, you will have opportunities where your virtual reality experiences are being created. Some of you, if you may have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, True Lies. Sorry, Gagan sir being almost 50 years old, talks about 80s and 90s. So this may happen. And you could be a curator. For this, of course, you may have to gain dexterity in tech. Moving on, a similar concept where probably you may have journey creators. So this may be probably situations where you may eventually collaborate with develop elements of various journeys. So you would have people who are working with travelers, with engineers, artists, so that your clients can have that experience through the virtual mode. Now, this is something which Elon Musk would be very happy to see, because as you know, in Silicon Valley, there are zones where there are driverless cars already. So there is a car which is going on automatically and you are comfortably sleeping. So those who love to take a wink on the wheel, worry not, because in very future, the highway controllers will actually guide you. Arre, sir, aapki gaadi idhar ja rahi hai. Okay, engine number 273, right low. Engine number 274, left low. So nothing to do. Sit back again and literally fall to sleep, because your highway controller will make sure that he guides you and steers you clear of the sheep. So that could be a next profession where you could actually prosper. And well, more amazing shocks. This is good news for people around 50 like us, that you may have body blast replacements. So I used to love to play lawn tennis, but because of tennis elbow, I can't. I used to love to jog, but now because of knee injury, I can't. So many injuries. Well, believe you, believe me, by the time 50, we do end up having many, many injuries. You know, Sachin Tendulkar had like 30 surgeries. So worry not. Maybe long after we are gone, for all of you wonderful 11th and 12th students, by 2040 and 50, there'll be many. So if like Gagan sir, you have a knee problem or an elbow problem, they'll be okay sir मैं knee भिजवा दूं sir दो दर्जन भिजवा दूं knee sir एक आर्म भिजवा दूं sir साथ साथ एक आंख भी भिजवा दे दो sir नए रंग की आई है sir try करके देखो. So you will have these kind of things happening. The reason I'm trying to emphasize this is, even today, if you're not a gold medalist engineer or a gold medalist MBA, well, the future will be bountiful for opportunities so long as that one skill you try to excel at and choose the right university to go. That is extremely vital, which is why we at KRM are hoping to be that launch pad which can catapult you to great heights. Now, there are many others, so I'm going to go quickly. So there'll be nanomedics who will probably keep on evolving medicines to greater heights. And GM is something I don't need to talk about much because the world is right now plunging into a huge debate. So there will be areas where agriculture could get radically augmented, limited land and more mouths to feed. So in those situations, you will have GM and new versions of farming as vital. And the ninth one is very dear to heart and most respect worthy, that probably like countries like Japan. So when I was in Japan, number 9 was already a profession of future in Japan. Why? Because a country like Japan has an inverse pyramid. Same for Germany, same for Scandinavia. We could see that trend ushering in India, where probably your generation X will now be, say, 70 something or 60 something. And that's when your elderly wellness would be a big opportunity. So take care and have a heart, because the heart will tell you the real art. Okay. And again, I've spoken about memory, but this is someone who will tear your brain and citizenship. Sir, should I put you an IQ of 180? Albert Einstein ka IQ डाल दूं या Isaac Newton का डालूं? So you'll have surgeons. Sir, कितने number चढ़ने के लिए पढ़ना है? भाई 100 or 100? Okay. So you will have surgeons who will be probably doing this. So there'll be ethicists who will probably ford the journey. And finally, this is something which again and again, I go back to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not my pen pal, not my pal, but still, amazingly, one profession of 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, I personally feel is space pilots, space guides. Respected Arora sir will remember our era movie related to Devanand's guide. Well, don't be a guide anymore like Devanand. Be a guide like Elon Musk and take the people to the moon, to the Mars and beyond. So Nandini ma'am, I hope the students would have loved this weekend shake of coffee, but then, well, this is what the future is likely to unfold.
Thank you so much, Gagan sir. You have given us all a rather startling glimpse of some very exciting and futuristic job roles, which will pop up in the next 10 years or so. I'm thinking now, as disparate as this 12 job roles may sound, actually they were connected by the skills you spoke about before. The skills being cognitive flexibility, creative and innovative mindset, emotional and social intelligence, and ability to manage complexity and ambiguity. Not that these skills are not important today. These are what we call evergreen skills, but as it appears from the discussion today, they are set to become even more important in the next 10 years, along with the changing nature of work. In fact, they are set to become critically important, even if I may say, crucial for survival. Well, these skills, my dear audience, require a degree of cultivation or learning. A proper academic grooming is immensely important in learning, applying, and managing the skills. Certain universities and institutions, by virtue of their pedagogy, curriculum, hands-on training, and industry interface, are ahead of others when it comes to preparing students for future job roles. I'm glad to state that KRMU University is one of those leading higher education institutions which has imbibed in its teaching and learning the spirit of future readiness. Gagan sir had also touched upon how our university has prepared itself with those skills to be inculcated into the students, which will make them future ready. It is my pleasure now to invite my colleague, Dr. Avjeet, to make a brief presentation of our university to the audience present today. Avjeet, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I would request you to please make a brief presentation of our university and how it has imbibed the spirit of future readiness into our curriculum and our pedagogy, our industry interface, to introduce these aspects to our student audience present here today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to, just share how the observations or the new inputs that Mr. Gagan has shared with us and how the same we are practicing at Mangalam University. So just to share with you, we are situated at Sona Road, Gurugram, Haryana, and with 26 acres of Gagan, sir, you can please stop sharing then?
Okay. So
Yeah.
Stop.
Thanks. Yeah. So as in once we talk about the Mangalam University, what to say and from where to start, started in the year 2013, and the Mangalam group is like, they started into the higher education in the year of 2005. And from there, the beginning of the Mangalam started with having more than 10 schools in Delhi NCR, and ultimately landed up to Mangalam University in Haryana and made a mark in the industry where they talk about the higher education and the project-based learning and, the new concepts, the new pedagogy of the change that new education policy, what our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir has suggested to us. So from there on, it's the journey started with the bringing a revolution on education at our university as well. So just to share with you, I have a small presentation. I have a small presentation which I would like to share with you all. I think there's some glitch. Just let me just start with it, please. Just, yeah. Okay, so this is the logo: empowering the youth, empowering the nation. The more we empower our youth and the beautiful nation that we can expect in the future tomorrow. And these are some of the schools that our university is offering: School of Agriculture, School of Architecture and Planning, Basic Applied Sciences, Engineering Technology, Education, Fashion, Hotel Management, Journalism, Legal Studies, Management, Commerce, Medical Allied. And the most important thing that our university is focusing nowadays is like having more and more entrepreneurs in the time to come. As very rightly said, let's not be a job seekers, but let's be a job givers. One budding entrepreneur can give job to 100 students from the university. And to share with all of you a very happy moment for KR Mangalam University, we already have two budding entrepreneurs at our university, those who are already, they have started up their own startups, and they were never job seekers, but they were always like had a mindset where they can, bring a new beginning to their family with having a startup, and very successful. Then we also have a collaboration with IIT Mumbai, that is E-Yantra Robotics Lab, 21st generation, and this time of the drones, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and a new area, new arena in the engineering and technology, where the students strive to enter into IIT Bombay. But yes, everybody cannot have the seat over there, since we have a limited seats in every premium education institute as well. So there, in that case, we have E-Yantra Robotics Lab, and they're the mentors, the educators, the facilitators, the teachers, the mentors. They all are from IIT Mumbai, and even before pandemic also, and during the pandemic, they have been associated with our students. And to happy to share with you, our students have come up with the small innovations. They have come up with the 3D multimedia printers. They, in the sector of the architecture, they have used indigenous resources, and come up with the smart ashram as well. And this is how, they have used non used resources till now, indigenous resources, and come up with the new structures in the architecture sector as well. Then, talking about the industry integration, since now it's the time where all the universities are trying to collaborate with the companies. But yes, KR Mangalam University is the only university in North India who has already made a mark and have integrated with the different industry, different companies like Dabur, Google, KPMG, Sun Pharma, Hughes, and plus we also have the collaborations with Siemens. We have collaborations with Symmetrics, IBM, LinkedIn Learning in different courses like BBA at undergraduate level, at MBA at PG level, and Medanta Hospital in the ortho sector. And though the students, and LinkedIn Learning, the most important, with 15,000 plus courses, and where the everybody is trying to have an education at a common platform where they can interact with CEOs, CPOs of the premium companies, and students are engaging and enrolling them in as many as courses as they want at LinkedIn Learning program. Then international exposure also, like student exchange programs, faculty exchange programs. Our KR Mangalam University gives an opportunity to the students where they can, if after 12th or after graduation, students look for international education as well. But in case funds is like a problem, or if the students they are feel homesick or something like that, so we have a system where we have collaborated with some of the universities: Middlesex University London, Huston University, Nanuala University, Teens University, Florida University, University of Melbourne, where they can, for a technical program of 4 years, they can have 3 years in India and 1 year in abroad, or vice versa. And for the non-technical programs, they can have 2 years in India and 1 year in abroad, or vice versa. They can design their degree themselves. Courses we have already mapped up, where education will not be hampered, but yes, students will get an opportunity where they can, have with national education, they can also have a chance to have an international education as well. Then we have these are the different courses that we are offering on architecture, starting from architecture, interior designing, bachelor in interior designing, then basic applied sciences, engineering technology, fashion, humanities. Plethora of courses are offered by KR Mangalam University, starting from the undergraduate to the PhD level as well. Then it is not only the academics that we are focusing on our students, but yes, it is the research programs, it is the DST funding projects, it is the research papers, and the apart from the academics, we have a mentor-mentee program, a hand-holding kind of a thing, where students from the school, they are just, very, they have a lot of fear of stepping into a new life. But yes, we have a hand-holding program, a mentor-mentee, where every faculty has assigned 15 to 20 students, and it is like, a takeaway journey to the students, and the journey does not end only till the college, but yes, it extends beyond that also. Then we have a community connect to make the students sensitized towards the community. We have community connect to programs, and the students visit the nearby villages, understand their problems, try to find out the solutions, collaborate with the companies, do a research work, a kind of a project, kind of a thing, live trainings, webinars, online sessions. So these all kind of the activities are offered by the university, where the students are given a lot of opportunities. It is just that the student has to grab each and every opportunity and explore and come up with a dynamic personality which makes them ready for tomorrow industry. Then we also offer the hostel and the sports facilities, since we look for the students from a nation and across the world. So we have the hostel facilities for separate for girls and boys, and the sports facilities indoor, outdoor, and every semester 2 to 3 days sports event, intra and inter university, they are organized, where students from across Delhi NCR do participate and take the full, the feel of the sports events. Then these annual fest events, just to have a just taking students away from the academics and making them aware of, the different kind of the cultural programs, like FDCI, Rubaru Annual Fest, Samvidhan Divas, and Alumni Meet. These kind of the programs, events are also conducted. Alumni Meet is, I think, the most important event which every student looks forward to, because you get to meet your own alumni of KRMU University also, and how successful they are, understanding their successful life and journey at KRMU University. We also have the collaborations with the premium companies like India Bulls, HCL Technologies, Outlook, Genpact, and Paytm, and Leloid Company. These are just to name a few. But yes, across the world, across the nation, companies are recruiting our students, and students are also making a mark in every sector of the industries. Scholarships are also offered to the well-deserved students. 90% plus students, 100% scholarship is offered to the students. And those from the KR Mangalam schools, they are a special kind of a program we have for them as well. And comparing the fee structure, thinking about that it must be a private university, must be very expensive. No, not at all like that. If you compare the fee structure of private universities in KR Mangalam universities in Haryana, it's 125, 175 in UP. As you can see, the highest it goes is till 130 in Uttar Pradesh. But for the technical programs, it goes on to 175, where KR Mangalam is just at 110 and 140. So this is the, and also we have a psychometric test designed by our psychology faculties, just to those students who are confused, who are not able to understand what to do, how to go ahead in career. And today, the CBSE class term 1 result is also out. And I'm sure 12th result also must be coming very soon. So again, a kind of a stress, a kind of a pressure is there on students, on parents. And just to relieve that, you can have a, it's not important that every student becomes a doctor or an engineer. Otherwise there'll be no nurse, there'll be no interior designer, there'll be no fashion designer. But yes, success, don't run after the success, work, feel like a successful person, and you are a successful in your own life. So just to ease out your stress, we have a psychometric test that it's not a test, basically it's a form which you have to fill up, and that will give you a right direction, that apart from those contemporary few courses, what are the best courses for you as an individual. Believe me, don't be like a three idiots. Don't follow the footsteps of being in contemporary courses of holding an engineering degree. And then on the last day of the graduation, realizing that, I did something wrong. I'm not meant to be an engineer, but I'm meant to hold a camera in my hand. So don't follow that concept. Go for a psychometric test, understand, give some time to yourself, listen to your inner drumbeat, what you are exactly best at, listen to yourself, and then decide what exactly I'm meant for. This was a small presentation from my side. And okay, so I think these are the main highlights of the KR Mangalam University, which I wanted to share with you. And any questions from the audiences, we look forward to that, please. We are available. The session is open. You can ask us any questions if you want, please. Yeah? Anybody, please? Any questions from anybody? All right. Just a minute. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Gagan, for today's session. Thank you so much, Dr. Nandini, Dr. Himani Arora, sir, for being a part of this wonderful session. And we look forward to have a series of sessions from your side. Thank you so much.
Why don't you brief us about the next session, which is going to take place coming Saturday? And so that the students are well aware of, and in case they want to attend that session, they are free.
Yeah, so very rightly said by Arora sir, as in the next session, when we talk about that is on next Saturday, again, we'll be meeting with the session related to psychology only. So all those students who are looking for the courses at KR Mangalam University, especially in the psychology, they can look forward to an active future, a youth forum. The topic would be an active future, a youth forum. So again, we'll be back with the session next Saturday, same timings, 11 a.m. again. So look forward to meet you all next Saturday.
So first of all, my special thanks to the attendees who have taken their time on Saturday to be with us, right? And I'm sure this journey to the word of future, which was very well, Dr. Gagan helped us to navigate through it, would be a journey which will remain with them and will continue to enlighten them and will continue to inspire them to think of a future of their own, right? The future, the kind of future they want and all. If we have to think of the future, where is the future? The future is in this moment. So this is the moment we have to decide very clearly. If I have to venture into the future, what should I choose? What should I do now? Okay. And that is the case. It is very important to decide what kind of education institute I should join. As rightly emphasized by Dr. Nandini, that we need to select those kind of institutes which are progressive in nature and are keeping an eye on the future. So thank you so much. We look forward meeting you in the university and looking forward to create a new future with you. My special thanks to Mr. Gagan for accepting our invitation and once again helping us to understand what the future is likely to be. Thanks to Dr. Nandini and Professor Himani for helping us to unravel the future through our wonderful speaker. So thank you very much, and we look forward to see you again and again. Thank you very much.